Good day, everybody. Today I'm talking to Wim Hartog, who's the Managing Director of WILA Innovations. Good day, Wim. How are you today?
I'm good, thanks. And yourself?
Good, thank you, Wim. And Wim, thank you for giving us your time despite your busy schedule running WILA Innovations.
Oh, well, it's good to keep busy, and that's the best thing you can do.
Good on
Keep
you.
on going during these times.
Good on you, Wim. Good on you. And Wim, are you happy for me to go into the first question?
Yeah, not a problem at all.
Good on you, Wim. Thank you. Wim, can you please share a little about yourself, the place you were born, your education, your passion, the things that you enjoy doing, and one thing that the public might not know about you?
Okay, well, long story, but born in Greece, grew up in the Netherlands for more than 45 years, lived there, moved to Australia in 2008, and since that time here in Australia, very active. Education is very bit difficult because I have to refer to Dutch education, let's call it up till year 12 here in Australia. What I'm doing, I like my work. That's that's a passion or a hobby, and it pays off some money too. It helps to pay the bills, and the rest is just sport, and maybe some sport. And that's very short on what I'm doing and where I came from.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. And we're moving on to our next question. Can you please share about your work experiences prior to you starting your business, which is WILA Innovations? And what lessons have you brought forth from your previous work experiences into your business, which is WILA Innovations? So your experiences prior to WILA Innovations and the things that you brought forth into your venture.
12 years started at the bottom, in a way, just on the office, and kept on going and just developed more and more until I ended up as the general manager there. Vicair was a rather large organization. We had 140 staff, almost 140 staff when I left. Really high-end, one-off equipment. And, the lessons I brought forward is just work hard and be passionate. But that's with everything. Otherwise, it ain't going to work.
Excellent. Good on you, Wim. And I think, I think I've met you a few years back, and I think I've seen that in whatever you do, that hard work, that, work on the road. Whenever I have called you in the past, either you are in Victoria or you are in another part of Australia, maybe 10 hours on the road to reach your clients or your potential distributor. So I can vouch for the fact that you do really work hard in building your contacts across Australia. So good on you, Wim, for doing that.
Yeah, look, I work Australia-wide, and it means that, there's a lot of traveling involved. You want, but that's one of the things that comes with the job, and you prefer to reduce the amount of time you spend in a car, but it's not always possible. So take it the way it is.
Very true. Thank you for sharing that, Wim. And we're moving on to our next question. Can you please tell me, when did you start WILA Innovations, and what was the inspiration behind this venture?
Well, I started at the end of 2017, and the reason was I was working at another company. That other company ceased its production, especially on the customized equipment. I already had all the contacts and all the of all the other companies, overseas companies I represented, and what was already in the planning just happened a bit sooner than planned. So that's how we got onto WILA. And instead of being employed, I became the employer, and haven't regretted it for 1 second. It's hard work, but it's a good thing to do.
Good on you, Wim. It almost sounded like you had a reasonably good transition from being employed to be an employer, and that's very good to know, because you're already in that sector, so you had built your networks, and it was basically that transition, which for many people can be a very hard step to take. But I think you, from what you were sharing, it was like kind of a natural progression for you. So good to hear that from you.
Yeah, you just keep going on what you do, and what you know or what you pretend to know. You know rather well what you're doing, and that's what you keep on going to do, as long as you like it. That's
Good on you.
still what I do.
Good on you, Wim. Thank you for sharing that. And we're moving on to our next question. Could you please share about WILA Innovations' unique product offerings, that which is a standout for your customers?
Okay, well, we are an Australian distributor for a range of brands, and I really focused on products which you can call in the medium high range of the disability. In that way, that I'm the sole Australian distributor for products that have almost no competition in that way. But the market is also, of course, a bit smaller, luckily, because you don't want to have too many people, all those people with a disability. So what we do is one of the unique things is OBI, which is a robotic feeding device, unique and one of its kind. There's nothing that comes close to that product. I'm the Australian distributor for VELA. VELA is a Danish company, and they make office chairs specially designed for people with a disability that come in standard configurations, not available in any other office chairs. I'm the Australian distributor for Vocal Meditech, and that's a Dutch company. They are an authority on high-end arm supports for people with a disability to get functionality of your arm back again. Now, these are the main things. And of course, I'm the Australian distributor for Vicair. Vicair is also a Dutch product, and that is pressure care from low-end pressure care up till high-end pressure care, including mattresses. Anytime soon, we will have 2 new products to launch here in Australia.
Good on you, Wim. Thanks for sharing that. And I think I had that opportunity to try one of the VELA chairs in Canberra, if I'm not wrong. And I think they're pretty good chairs. And I think the market would love it. And I can see that you have a lot of traction in the market as well with that product. So good on you, and all the best with VELA chairs.
Now, that's really has a lot of traction in the workplace that can't be helped with a normal office chair, and that can really keep on doing the job. And that's what you all want by using a VELA chair. So it really is one of the things where people can be active at home or be active at work, and that's what we all want to do.
Good on you, Wim. Thank you for sharing that. And we're moving on to our next question. Could you please share about the highs in your business and for you before COVID-19?
For me, look, and also in the industry that we are involved in, there's a bit of difference between before and after. Well, before COVID-19 got a big deal, and in the current situation, but not that much has changed. The major problems I'm facing at the moment, of course, is the closure of all the borders in Australia. For me, working Australia-wide, it makes it more difficult for my clients than for me. Yeah, I can't do trials, I can't do demos, because another unique thing is that we do everything at the client's own environment. So we do the traveling instead of the client having to do the travel. And that makes it a little bit more challenging at this stage. But for the rest, not much has changed. So it's just keep on going and getting new products in, and there's always a bit of a high, and see how that is going to work out. So the last couple of years have been a constant process of improving, and working very hard, and just keep going. And I like it. So with all the plus and minus that comes with it, but I still like it. So call it one big high.
Thank you, Wim, for sharing that. And I think a lot of people, traveling across borders for sales and connections with distributors, I would think they would have felt it pretty hard. But one good advantage I think now is we have technology like Zoom and other technological products that we can leverage as well. And I can see that we are doing this meeting over Zoom, so it's good to know that technology is available for that purposes as well.
Yeah, I agree with you, but technology is good for meetings and all those things, but you can't do a product trial. You can show something on Zoom, showing it, but a person really, in my opinion, especially with the products we do, they have to physically trial the use of a product, and then you can determine if they are suitable for using it, yes or no. And you can't do that in a virtual world. That is impossible to do, as you can't trial a wheelchair. You have to sit in a wheelchair to see if you can work with it and if it works for you. So these are the restrictions you have in this world. It is for a lot of other businesses. It can be done, meetings, etc. I understand Zoom is perfect anyway, doing that, but look at all our cafes. You can't buy a virtual coffee. You can buy one, but it doesn't taste as well. Yeah, so so there's also some downsides on the virtual world.
That's true. That's true. And I think especially with when it comes to client demos, and and for the clients to sit and feel and have a touch of the equipment, it's definitely pretty hard. Yes, I can.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, Wim. And we're moving on to our next question. So when the pandemic hit Australia, what were the steps you took to mitigate its effect on VELA Innovations?
Look, as I said before, not so much. What you do is you have to jump on what's going on. My major problems is making sure that getting products in from overseas. This whole pandemic created longer delivery times from my overseas suppliers, and not because they were struggling. Of course, they had their issues all around the world too, but delivery times just go up. It takes longer to get something from country A to country B. It gets longer inside Australia to get it to me, and you can't do much about it because you have no influence on that. I can't make a plane fly faster or quicker or whatever. It's impossible to do. The only thing I can do is trying to get as much as possible available and get it to the clients as quick as possible. But for the rest, you take your measurements, but who doesn't, in a way? Again, we see clients in their own environment. You are careful towards your clients, and the clients are careful towards you. And that is in a way what you do. Nothing less, nothing more, nothing less. And keep track of what's going on. But again, this is something that we can't do much about. I just trying to be as active as possible to keep things going. And it's not always easy, but my clients understand it. And whether that's the end user or the occupational therapist or the therapist we work with or anybody else, we all around the country, we facing the same problems. And in a way, there is waiting times longer. Well, what can we do? Not much. Accept it.
Thank you, Wim, for sharing that. Thank you. And Wim, moving on to our next question. So moving forward, what are your plans for your business, VELA Innovations?
Expanding, but that's always what you do. You want to keep on creating growth, whether that's with new products, which I'm working on at the moment, getting 2 new products in, or getting more staff on board, which also happens. And even during these times, I just appointed another person, and really to make sure that in the area where I live now, in that wider area, to see what we can do in providing our products and services on a more local area. And that's where you keep on going. Look, the world doesn't stop, and product development doesn't stop, and innovation doesn't stop. And that's where you have to have a look at, and that's where you have to jump in. And that's what's happening. So working on a steady, constant growth.
Good on you, Wim. Thank you for sharing that. So keep at it, and move ahead with your passions and your vision of improving the products that you're bringing into the country, and also customer service and expanding your network across Australia. So that's very encouraging to know, Wim.
No worries, easy done.
Thank you. And Wim, moving on to our next question. So if you look back to the time from when VELA Innovations started operations, what would you have done differently, and why?
Started this at least 10 years earlier. That's the way it is. Look, you start work. Not everybody starts his own business immediately, but you start working somewhere. You keep on going, and I always liked what I did. But I think what I'm doing now, in the way with everything, everything that comes with it, and I should have done it a bit earlier. That is the only thing in that way. No other regrets or whatever. What?
Good on you. Good on you, Wim. Thank you for sharing that. And Wim, moving on to our next question, what are the life and business lessons that you would like to share with someone who is planning to start a venture, a business or a service in Australia?
Well, number one is don't be afraid in doing it. And number two is sometimes you must have the guts in doing it. And if you can, don't be too old when you do it. Yeah, if you look, I'm old and gray, so, and I still managed, but you have a lot of younger people that I think that have real good opportunities, and look at that opportunity and just take it. And sometimes you must, don't be afraid. I think that that's one of the most important things. As with everything, you come up with 100 reasons in not doing it, but just find the one reason in doing it. And then forget about the 100. And then work hard. But you need passion. If you don't have passion, of course you need to understand what you're doing. But if you don't have passion about what you want to do, well, it ain't gonna work. That is how I think about it.
Excellent, Wim. And I think these are very important lessons that you have shared with us today.
Yep.
So for a person who's thinking of starting a business, what you're basically saying is don't be afraid. When you see an opportunity, grab hold of it, persevere with it, and be patient. So that those are wonderful lessons for entrepreneurs out there and who are willing or who are thinking or who are keen to get into that business space. It's not an easy journey, as you have shared from your experience, but we have to persevere. We have to have a vision. We have to have a passion for it, and be patient. And as you work hard, one interesting thing about business, especially I think in Australia, is like if you're willing to put in your effort, the results will come in its time. And I think, Wim, having known you for, close to probably, I'm not sure, maybe 5 or 7 years, if I'm not wrong. And I think you are the person, you are also the person who gave me that pivoting moment. When I met you in Sydney at an exhibition, you said why don't you consider, starting a business in the aged care, home care, disability care sector? And I think that was an inspiration for me to consider even my journey with Gong Life Care Solutions. So I'm really thankful to you, Wim, for encouraging me. And I could also see that, it was not an easy journey, because knowing the effort and hard work that you had put in establishing and building your business, I could see that there was a lot of sweat and, sleepless nights that have gone behind it. But, at the end of the day, when we see results and when we see progress, we are encouraged by it. So, Wim, thank you for being an encouragement, and I wish you the very best into the future with WILA Innovations. So thank you so much.
And thank you for this. And of course, you also all the best. Paths will cross many more times.
Absolutely, Wim. All the best, and thank you.